been a long time since we've been able to say hello and welcome to the NASCAR Canada Series on Rev TV. I'm Dave Bradley. Joined with me in the booth is the runner-up from race number 1, Gary Clute, and Todd Lewis will be joining us pitside. We're at Riverside International Speedway, which is tucked just outside of Antigonish, Nova Scotia, a couple hours outside of Halifax. What a gem of a place this is, but after a couple weather-delayed events, we finally get to see race number 2 and the first on an oval.
Yeah, I mean, two races canceled or delayed because of the weather. Now we're going to be at probably the best oval all season, like at least the coolest oval to be at, so looking forward to that one.
It is such a fantastic place. High banks, even the straightaway is banked about 5 degrees, so lots of opportunity to see passing, but there's an opportunity to see some strategy played out here today. They're switching things up for the first oval, and we'll see live pit stops. Fans love it, and the drivers love it too.
Yeah, I'm going to love watching it. I mean, very interesting night that these guys have ahead of them. They've got one tire only. They can take up to 4 tires, so they can come in 4 separate times for tires, and they're going to have to take fuel. So you could see 5 stops per car. It's going to be wild.
Yeah, and we'll be watching some of the drivers that you often see at the front of the field. Will likely make some moves over the course of the day today, and top of that list has to be the driver from Quebec, the driver of the 96, Marc-Antoine Cameron, of course.
After leading so many laps.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ignore him. He's been so dominant on the road courses and the ovals, 2-time series champion. Hasn't done all that well here in the recent years. His best finish here being 3rd 10 years ago in 2015. So might be opportunity for someone else to sneak in there.
He didn't qualify all that great here today either, so he does have his work cut out for him over the course of that race. And if, of course, you noticed this screen, you had a different angle to see it, finishing in the runner-up behind the 96. But, yeah, he'll be exciting to watch over the course of the day today. And another driver we'll be keeping an eye on is the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. Historically, Riverside is not one of his better tracks. He hadn't really done well until he struck gold last year.
Yeah, I mean, last year he frankly just dominated both races. They ran 2 races in one night. The only guy who even got close was Jason Hathaway, and Lacroix took the position right back. So the way they have that team structured now, they really found something on the ovals. They really found something at this track.
Yeah, he's been good in practice here today. He was good in qualifying as well. And it's funny you should mention the driver that is chasing the 74 there, Jason Hathaway, another driver who historically does very well at this facility.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ignore, he finished runner-up in both of those races last year. He loves this place. I'm sure he thought about those races a lot over the winter, and maybe he found something in the setup.
He brought his own late model out and raced earlier in the day here today. Didn't quite have the finish that he was looking for in that 3, but Jason Hathaway much more comfortable in the NASCAR Canada Series car. And a driver who was very comfortable in E3 spark plug pole qualifying was the 17 of DJ Kennington. He's a veteran here. He has more starts than anyone else, and here he's going to lead the field to green.
Yeah, I mean, he's really it's really coming together this weekend so far for him. You know, he's got the maturity, he's got the experience, and now he's got the speed. And I would chalk that up to him having my crew chief this weekend. So we'll say it was all John's work.
A little John Fletcher magic on top of the box for DJ Kennington. Just a hair off a track record in E3 spark plugs pole qualifying earlier on today. But without further ado, let's send it down trackside. Get things underway with today's command.
Drivers, start your engines.
And there you hear the engines come to life here on the front straightaway as the field of 14 cars set to do battle for 300 laps here at Riverside International Speedway. And we will, in a moment, take you through our starting lineup. You can see the NASCAR officials going through car to car, just getting the thumbs up, ensuring that all those cars have fired properly, and then we will roll them off. But again, now comes the anticipation for the drivers. You're buckled in, the car's fired, and you're ready to go, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely. Your heart is through your chest right now, and it doesn't calm down until that race is over.
So the field starts to roll off. We'll take you through our starting lineup. As we mentioned, pole sitter, the 17 of DJ
Cars
Kennington.
beginning to roll
and
here behind
just
that
a
GMC
hair off
pace
a track
truck.
record with a
Getting ready for
14.562.
300
Kevin
laps of
Lacroix
action
will
here
roll,
inside.
roll off on the outside of the front row. Row number 2 has Donald Teach and Matthew Kingsbury. And then we look back to row number 3. That's where we find Andrew Ranger and Jason Hathaway. But Hathaway is another driver. As we mentioned, he just jumped out of a late model. Running here earlier today, finished 7th in that race, but this is a different beast, isn't it?
Yeah, you got to keep an eye on him. He typically does not qualify well, but he gets that car sorted on those long runs, and that's where his wins have come.
You can see the field rolling through. Ryan Vargas will start in 9th spot. Larry Jackson, Sarah Thorne make up row number 6 in the 11th and 12th spot, and then Brian Cathcart and Brent Weller will round out the field here today. So a very tight field, too. And that is one of the stories we didn't talk about off the top, is just how close the top 10 was as far as lap times go in qualifying. It's about 0.3 of a second. That's super tight.
No, absolutely. The top 10 in this series, you go to any track, and it's always very tight, super competitive. These are all good cars. These are all guys who know what they're doing.
Now, we talked a little bit about this track and the makeup of it, but obviously it's an oval, but it's a typical oval you would see. It's not a D-shaped, it's not oblong, there's no ends that are different. It is your true, both corners are the same, or both ends are the same, but interesting story here that it's patterned after Bristol in the U.S.
Yeah, just slightly smaller, big banking, 14-degree banking in the corners, 6 degrees on the front straight, 5 on the back straight. It really holds the car to the racetrack and produces a lot of speed out of these cars.
As a matter of fact, when Sunset Speedway went through their reimagining a few years ago, the designers actually came here to Riverside, took a look at this and said, we want to make ours very similar to yours as well. Sunset, another date on the NASCAR Canada Series schedule. As you can see, 1 to go. So the field will double up here behind the NASCAR Canada Series pace car. And again, now is when the butterflies start to jump in the chests and in the bellies of some of these drivers, as DJ Kennington and the 74 of Kevin Lacroix will see nothing but daylight in just a moment as the pace truck pulls down pit lane. Donald Teach and the number 9 of Matthew Kingsbury in row number 2, just in behind. As we make our way onto the front straightaway, the green flag is in the air and we are underway.
Whoa, contact there between the 80 and the 9. Oh, he's off the pace already. The 80's falling back.
Big problems. We go 3 wide. Hathaway way up by the wall in the 3 car, but still off the pace is the Garoua Construction number 80 of Donald Teach. And we continue under green, but Teach is struggling to make his way around. That car is not right. Looks like he caught a little bit of the apron going into turn number 1. It shot him up the track and right into the door.
Yep, caution's out now. Caution's out.
Of the 9 of Matthew Kingsbury. And there you can see that car just badly damaged. It didn't seem to be a severe hit, but it just hit at the right angle, or the wrong angle.
Yeah, sometimes these cars, you hook a wheel with someone else and it just yanks on something and your day's over. That car is bent.
I don't know if Matthew Kingsbury had come down the banking and crowded the 80, but it looks like you saw a puff of dust come out of the left side corner from the 80, and it appears as though he did touch the apron, and as soon as you touch the apron, it just sets you up the track, and that's exactly what happened, making contact with the 9 of Matthew Kingsbury.
Yeah, here we go. They're gonna take that right front off, but I don't think there's anything they can do. They're gonna look at it, and that car is hurt bad.
Just look at them, the way they're able to move that wheel back and forth, and you can see the top is pushed in as well. There's big suspension damage. I think the crew was hopeful this might have just been a tire down or something of the sort, but this is going to be a long time fixing this one. Don Thompson Jr., the new crew chief for the 80 team here in 2025. He is on top of the pit box, and he's giving out instructions to the crew, and they're reporting back, and I think what they're reporting back is bad news for the 80. We'll take another look at exactly what happened here off the start. Have a look at the red car.
Contact.
It was contact going in.
Yeah, then contact again, And yeah, just that car is bent, and he knows it right there. He's just fallen to the back.
Yeah, he's well off the pace. You saw a couple other drivers go 3 wide. Hathaway way up by the wall. Marc-Antoine Cameron was in that sandwich as well. They managed to make it through unscathed, but yeah, the hood is up for repairs on the number 80 of Donald Teague.
They're going to try and get it fixed here if they can, but he's already going to be a lap down.
Yeah, we're going to try and see if they can get their repairs done. You can usually tell by how urgent the crew is working around the front of a car or any car that's on pit lane. And you just look at the pace at which they're working. They know they're in for a long fix on this one. It's not going to be done in a hurry. But it comes into play. We talked about pit stop strategy and things like that, but having the 80 car on pit lane, he's parked right in front of the pit box of the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. And so I think the Kevin Lacroix team is like, if you can't get it fixed, you might want to move behind the wall and leave us a clear shot for our pit box for sure. But the field is going to line up 2 by 2. And it looks like the 80 car will be unable to make the start. Heartbreak for that team, as he had such a good car in practice earlier on today and obviously qualified in 3rd spot.
Yeah, Teague is always so quick on these ovals and just feels like he's been plagued with bad luck, and it follows him again here.
So the first car out of the Riverside 300 as DJ Kennington and Kevin Lacroix will try it again as they move in through the Pinty's restart zone. And the green flag waves once again. We're back underway.
DJ got a good launch there. Kevin Lacroix hanging on the outside. He's going to stay on the outside there because Ranger's now on the bottom. He's going to have to hang tough on the outside. And
Andrew Ranger in that GM Paille, number 27. He ducks to the inside, so put the 27 into 2nd spot as he moves around his teammates in the 74. Kevin Lacroix will come down from that high lane and find that inside groove and follow single file, which is what exactly you want to do right now in the early going of this race. As Vargas in a battle with both Matthew Kingsbury and now getting a bump from the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron.
Yeah, Vargas settling in there right in front of the 96, doing a great job getting in line. There's a long race in front of these guys.
Yeah, there is. In the field all settling in, single file now. DJ Kennington just ahead of Andrew Ranger, the driver from Roxton Pond, Quebec, and Kevin Lacroix holding down 3rd. Good battle there. Deeper in the pack between the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron and the 3 car of Jason Hathaway. Hathaway started in 6th spot. Cameron started 8th off the initial start. They swapped positions, but it looks like Cameron is a little bit crooked.
Absolutely. That car is loose. That car is not handling how he wants to, and Hathaway just saw that, and he's going to be in a hurry to get by him.
So the veteran is out in front, the Castrol Edge Dodge of DJ Kennington, pacing the early going here in Riverside, Nova Scotia. You're watching the Riverside 300 here on Rev TV.
This NASCAR Canada broadcast is brought to you in part by WeatherTech. Find your fit online at weathertech.ca.
A little tail wag in the early going from the GM Paille number 96, and now Hathaway is going to see that and try and capitalize as he tries to move to the inside of the 96. Back up at the front, it is still DJ Kennington, who is opening up a bit of a gap now on the rest of the field as Kennington is stretching on the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. And there goes Hathaway as Cameron decides to let him through, recognizing that Hathaway is the faster car and maybe now's not the time to push for the driver of the 96.
No, certainly. I mean, he is, you can tell he is driving that car really hard, and the car that he wants is just not under him, so he's going to have to look to those pit stops to make some changes.
Andrew Ranger in the 27 there, sitting in 2nd spot. And a new look to the 74 here today. Started race number 1 with the Napa Brakes livery, and this time he's got a paint job representative of Gates Belts, the red, black, and white, so very similar to the GM Paille cars as another red, black, and white car gets into the mix, chasing the green number 17 of DJ Kennington. So Kennington himself is no slouch here at Riverside. He has 2 wins, but the last time he won here was way back in 2012.
Wow. I mean, you just watching that car, it just kind of comes off the corner so well, rotates so nicely. That car looks like a pleasure to drive, and looks like he's just kind of on cruise control right now.
Saw the 04 Brian Cathcart. He pulls to the inside. Looks like he has some issues on that car as the field goes around on the outside. No harm to the race leaders, and there's Cathcart slowing on the apron, and looks like he's going to head to the pits. As Brent Weller in the 98 is just in front of your race leader. So leader will come into lap traffic very, very shortly. Sarah Thorne is behind the wheel of the 8 car, and then Brent Weller in the 98 just ahead of that car as well. The 98 had a great run. Different driver at CTMP for race number 1, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Malcolm Strawn putting that car on the podium, giving the car owner his first ever podium in the NASCAR Canada Series.
Yeah, I mean, just such a good feel-good story. Malcolm did such a good job. Their strategy, paid off as well as it could. The race just going green, them not opting for tires and opting for track position, and Malcolm drove a heck of a race, and the car was really good too. Those guys, he had legitimate pace out there.
So now you see what lap traffic does to the leaders, and it all depends on where you catch them in these turns. And the 17 Kennington manages to get through cleanly. Now Sarah Thorne just holding up the 27 of Andrew Ranger a little bit, bounces off the apron and almost making contact with second place driver Ranger in the GM Paye Chevrolet. You see Lacroix going way up to the outside, but all of a sudden Will LaRue comes into play, and now it's a 3-car battle for second spot.
Yeah, I think the 74 is probably going to try and sneak back up to the bumper of the 27 here. Before they caught that lap traffic car, it looked like Ranger was having a tough time keeping the car on the bottom of corner 3 and 4 there, at least not compared to the 74. So 74 looks a little bit quicker.
Andrew Ranger, no stranger to the high line. He has done that at many different facilities. He's often the first driver to jump up into the outside groove and start making it work. Today, he's planting it down low, but you can see Lacroix is getting even lower. As 2 cars prepared out of the same stable, Lacroix and Andrew Ranger, and the 9 of Matthew Kingsbury, all prepared out of the same shop under the same umbrella and all inside the top 5.
Yeah, I mean, he's running great. That would be a great result just as he stands right now for Matthew Kingsbury. But some great pace out of him in qualifying, and again, he just needs to be patient. He needs to complete all 300 laps and it'll come to him.
So look at Lacroix, maybe just a little bit quicker than the driver from Roxton Pond, Quebec. Andrew Ranger hanging on to second in the 27, so that car is just getting a little bit free off. You can see as he's trying to get onto the power, the back end starting to slide a little bit. Now Kevin Lacroix is not going to push him because they're teammates. Historically, back in the day, there probably would have been a little bit of bumper tag.
Well, he gave him a little nudge right there just to let him know he was there. So, it is up to Ranger here to say, okay, you've got the faster car. I'm going to tuck back in and see what I can do here.
Etienne Cliche is the man calling the shots, veteran of the NASCAR series in the South, and he came up to help out this team when they were formed, and he really has helped make a big impact on those 2 cars. So he would be the one sort of dictating, okay, Kevin's behind you, maybe pull up, let him go, and just slot in because we have a gap behind us.
Yeah, and you've got that 45 in the 9 car who are quick coming behind you. You guys can't fool around there. They've got to get back in line and log some laps. Speaking of logging laps, I mean, look at DJ Kennington. He's got half a straightaway lead over the 74, and with so much knowledge and so much experience here, he's just making notes. He's going to come down pit lane a handful of times, and he's going to make that car even better later in the race.
And we can elaborate a little bit on that strategy that will come into play. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to change all 4 tires. If you want to change your right front 3 times, you're more than welcome to give that a shot if you have the tire sizes all measured up and they can fit. But it's a good chance we will see at least right sides go on. They do have to make a pit stop for fuel. That's a guarantee.
For sure. Yeah, I'm definitely opting for a right front or a right rear over a left rear, that's for sure. So very unique strategy tonight, and we're going to see how it plays out.
That's a good battle here towards the latter half of the top 10 between the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron and the 47 of LP Dumoulin. So Cameron, who we expected to be further up in the running order, is sitting in 8th. Dumoulin holding down 9th. And have a look at those new colors for Larry Jackson. Superior Propane, Iraq.ca. Brand new livery, brand new sponsors coming on board that team as he's holding off the race leader as DJ Kennington puts in a torrid pace.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like one of those big yellow propane tanks, and I think that was the idea behind it. Great looking car. He's going to get to the bottom here. He's going to let DJ go around the top.
And so, yeah, Larry Jackson going to plant it to the insides, and the leader goes around on the high side as DJ Kennington continues to put cars a lap down. We're still in the early stages, a long way to go here in Riverside, Nova Scotia. It's the Riverside 300 here on Rev TV.
NASCAR Canada is brought to you in part by Pinty's, proudly Canadian.
And welcome back to the Riverside 300 here on Rev TV as DJ Kennington continues to lead. The 74 of Kevin Lacroix seems to be closing that gap now as he is tracking down your race leader. And yeah, it's getting tight. He seemed to make his way through lap traffic a lot cleaner than the 17 did.
Yeah, it's either that or the 74 is really picking up the pace, and I think that's what I'm leaning towards here. Either the 17 is just kind of cruising, or that setup is not going to pay out for the long runs for him.
So the 17 of DJ Kennington coming to Riverside in the first oval race of 2025 with a brand new car underneath him. So no doubt they've done a lot of testing. They have a lot of laps in it already, but may not be playing out the way they had thought it would in the early stages of this race. Again, next time around will be 50 laps in the books. So still very much in the early going of this 300 lap affair on such a wonderful racetrack. And you touched on it a little bit off the top in our intro, and you mentioned, you know, you've been here a couple of times. Tell us about your first time racing here.
Yeah, I mean, my first time racing here was 10 years ago, 2015, and I went out for practice, and wow, this is an amazingly fast track, but my goodness, I cannot believe we're going to have to race here. It was just, it felt so fast. The banking just holds the car there, and you really lurch and launch off of these corners onto the straightaway. Hard not to get free there, hard not to get greedy and kiss that wall. So, you know, this is tough racing for these guys.
It looks like when you come off the corners, it almost lifts up the car as you get back onto the straightaway. It just must be a delicate dance.
Absolutely. But what a fun track to drive and fun track to race at. And DJ Kennington is having some fun right now, but less and less so as he sees the 74 closing that gap.
Yeah, catching is one thing, passing is another for sure, as Kevin Lacroix has managed to close that gap, which was, you know, not too long ago about 10 car lengths, and now it's about a car length and a half back to the even less now as Kevin Lacroix drives it a ton into turn number 3. He's right within striking range here into turn number 1 as Kennington up off that yellow line just a little bit. There's Sarah Thorne and the Leland number 8 dropping to the inside. So obviously spotter telling her leaders are coming, and no, she's going to head to pit lane in the 8. So leaders in clear air for just a little bit. We've got a battle on our hands for top spot here in the Riverside 300.
Yeah, it looks again like DJ just can't keep that car quite at the bottom of corner 3 and 4. We're going to expect the 74 here to let him know that he's there with the front bumper at some point here.
Yeah, it's coming. You can almost see he's just barely hazing by it. And now Kennington up off the bottom just a little bit. So that car, I don't know if it wiggled or if this is just a veteran move Kennington realizing again the 74 might be quicker. Maybe he's trying to find maybe his car is a little bit better in the upper groove.
I think the car's not handling clearly the way he wants to. He doesn't have the pace of the 74. He's going to try the top while he can anyways, see how if that changes anything, but he's going to have to let the 74 here go and then just work on that car during their pit stops.
It's not too bad on the outside. DJ Kennington, the Castrol Edge Dodge, able to keep pace, but we do have a new leader in the Gates Belts number 74, Kevin Lacroix, driver from Saint Eustache, Quebec, now noses into the lead. As you can find your favorite driver on the ticker across the top of your screen. And Lacroix now finally clears the 17, and Kennington will slot in behind. Andrew Ranger, Will LaRue, and Matthew Kingsbury continue to round out the top 5. Again, Ryan Vargas in the 28. That's another car prepared out of the DJK stable, out of the DJ Kennington camp. There's the 28 there, having a great run in 6th spot, although he's got Hathaway on his back bumper now. Hathaway with Choco sponsorship, Fast Eddie Speedway, and Leland on board once again, and only expected to do a limited schedule here in 2025, but obviously ran race number 1 at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. As there's the leaders, and
oh boy,
is that Cameron? That's Cameron.
Oh,
and
he's up over the 98. Oh,
big problem. So we got caution out as Cameron had fallen way back and into the grips of your leader. He was trying to go, and he jumped the right rear of the Jim Bray-owned number 98 of Brent Weller. Weller was just in the high line minding his own business, and all of a sudden he had a wheel in his window, and that belonged to the GM Paille number 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron. You can see torn up bodywork as we are under a caution now. So this will give an opportunity for pit stops guaranteed.
Yeah. I mean, if these guys have done their fuel mileage calculations, there could be fuel stops here. Going back to that incident there, you could see the 96 just, getting a little bit frantic that he was going to go a lap down and really tried to force the issue with the 98. And
so we'll have another look at what happened. There is Cameron, who had fallen way off the pace.
Yeah.
And a little bump to the 98, gets him loose, and then he had the leader on his back bumper.
That's what sent him in there. He got him a little bit loose, and then the 74 said, I'm going to pass you right now as well, and gave him a little bit of a shot right into that left rear.
So under caution as the cleanup continues here at Riverside International Speedway. We'll take a quick break here on Rev TV.
This NASCAR Canada broadcast is presented in part by Phoenix. Rise again by visiting phoenix.ca.
A little bit of bodywork flapping on the right side. Crew Chief Robin McCluskey with a bit of a handling adjustment, and fuel going in that 96 car.
So there's that fuel stop for Marc-Antoine Cameron as the GM Paille number 96 gets released from his pit stall. The hood's still up on the 80 of Donald Teach. Fuel stop for the 3 of Jason Hathaway as well. And there is the Curb Records number 98 of Brent Weller as the Jim Bray-owned team goes to work trying to repair that left rear quarter. And Cameron
back down pit lane.
Yeah, so will he be taking tires or maybe making adjustments? There was a problem with that car. You see the 47, the WeatherTech Dodge of LP Dumoulin back down pit lane too. So yeah, tires for the 96.
Yep, they're doing a left rear.
Robin McCluskey is the crew chief for this team, and saw him reaching in the passenger side window, making some adjustments, so tweaking on something. Maybe it was a radio problem for the 96 and a fuel stop for the WeatherTech Dodge of Marc-Antoine Cameron, and tires now. So left sides for the 3 of Jason Hathaway, and now we get to see how the strategy plays out.
Yeah, left rear, because you're only going to do one, so they're getting that one out of the way, and that'll live till the end.
Now, as far as your experience goes here, you talked about right sides and leaning on the right sides the most. Left sides don't necessarily take a lot of wear, do they?
I mean, you're using all 4 tires, so
You should be.
Yeah, and you want all 4 tires, working as maximally as you can get them to work. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe there was a last-minute change, because this is such a new order of operations in the pits. Maybe there was a last-minute change that you can't take multiple tires you couldn't take 2 right rears. Maybe you have to take 1 of each.
And there you can see the work continues on the 80 of Donald Teach. Half the way back down pit lane. The pace truck is in, so we are going back to green. The 74 of Kevin Lacroix with the 17 of DJ Kennington as we go through the Pinty's restart zone and back underway.
74 got a good launch, but DJ drove it in there deep. He's going to try and hang on the outside, and he's going to be forced to because the 27 is right there on the bottom, too.
Ranger and DJ Kennington, former teammates in NASCAR Canada. There's a little bit of contact there.
Yeah, that was all clear, and I don't know. DJ was trying to keep his nose in there, and probably a miscue with the spotters there.
So now side by side for second as everybody else seems to follow in single file fairly nicely. Kennington, what a drive in on the outside of turn number 1, and it's stuck.
Yeah, he's clear of the 27 now.
So there's the first opportunity for the outside groove to come in, and that's something that DJ Kennington will put in the back of his mind and know that can work for later on in this race.
Yeah, we saw him jump to the outside when 74 got underneath him, and he was running pretty well out there, and I bet you that was John. I know, it was probably John on the radio saying, hey, just see how your car runs out there. Doesn't hurt to try.
John Fletcher calling the shots for DJ Kennington and the Castrol Edge Dodge. There is your top 3, the 74 of Kevin Lacroix, Kennington, and the 17 and the 27 of Andrew Ranger. But that grouping just in behind, Will LaRue in the 45, and then you've got Matthew Kingsbury having a great run. As we look a little bit further back in the field, in the 84 of Larry Jackson, the Superior Propane Rack.ca Dodge, working alongside the Bay by Bay, number 8 of Sarah Thorne, the driver from Newfoundland. Yeah, Will LaRue, Matthew Kingsbury, and Ryan Vargas. So Ryan Vargas, the only driver from the United States running in the NASCAR Canada Series, sitting in the top 6 right now, and seems to be those 6 cars in the class of the field, at least at this point. We'll see what those new tires do for some of those drivers who came in for pit stops.
Yeah, at least those 4 cars. I was expecting the 74 to kind of drive away a little bit quicker from the 17, so maybe he's just kind of saving his stuff. Maybe he didn't have that blistering pace that he had earlier catching the 17. Maybe he used some stuff up.
Yeah, we talk about, short run cars and long run cars, and, my car's a little bit better on the long runs. You hear drivers mention that. Can you tell when you're in it, you're just like, this car's just not dropping off as much as it should be, or do you know you're going to be in for a fight on the shorter stuff, the short green flag runs?
No, you're almost never pleasantly surprised. You're usually disgruntled when it's dropping off, but as you'd expect, you want your car to kind of keep pace there, and looks like the 17 and the 74 both have decent, at least medium run cars so far. We're going to see here in a little bit how their long run pace is.
A pair of Dodges at the front of the field, or excuse me, a Chevrolet and then a Dodge, as Kevin Lacroix, and then the 17 of DJ Kennington, and then 2 other Chevrolets just in behind in that top 4 is Will LaRue and the LaRue Blowers, number 45. Tracks down Andrew Ranger, and Will LaRue is a veteran of the late model ranks in Quebec mostly. He's done some running in the United States as well, but definitely one of those talents. He's a youngster. He's got, fire in his belly to go out and get those great finishes. Patience may not be his thing in some of these longer runs, but as the late model races start to stretch out a little bit longer, you take that experience and you bring it here to the NASCAR Canada Series. We saw what he did at Autodrome Montmagny. Looks like he's putting together another great race here.
Yeah, at that race last year, I mean, he showed all kinds of maturity, all kinds of professionalism. He didn't have quite enough for the race win, but man, he tried.
He has never been here in a NASCAR Canada Series car to Riverside Speedway, so this is his first opportunity to see this facility. And to turn some laps, Ryan Vargas in that same boat. Matthew Kingsbury in the 9, just ahead of him. Kingsbury also making his first start behind the wheel of the Duro King number 9.
Yeah, Ryan doing a great job in that 28 car.
Coming into lap traffic again, there's Brent Weller. You can see the left rear fix is holding for now as the fender has been brought back behind the General Tire on that Ford Mustang. And now the leader will slide by on the outside as Weller will tuck it down low. DJ Kennington will follow him through. So the leader continues to be the driver from Saint Eustache, Quebec, Kevin Lacroix, who has led more laps here historically at Riverside International Speedway than any other driver. And he finds himself right at home, pacing the field here. We'll take a quick break on Rev TV.
NASCAR Canada is brought to you in part by General Tire. General Tire delivers.
And welcome back to race number 2 of the 2025 NASCAR Canada Series here on Rev TV. I'm Dave Bradley. Joined with me in the booth is Gary Klutz, and we have been watching the number 74 of Kevin Lacroix holding off the 17 of DJ Kennington. We can't say running away because it hasn't been the case.
Yeah, he's got a comfortable gap there, a handful of car lengths, and that's how he's going to want to keep it there. He's going to keep working hard to keep that gap there and have no pressure from behind.
It's been about half a second. DJ Kennington fell back a little bit in the early part of this run. It's been 4/10, 5/10 of a second, lap after lap, but it has maintained as he can now see Andrew Ranger is starting to fall off a little bit. So he's now 1.4 seconds back in the 27 as it seems to be the top 2 have now found their groove, and they are the best cars in the field at this point. But a long race, a lot can change.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know, you got to expect one more caution here. And for those guys that didn't take fuel, they're praying for another caution.
No driver has started more events than DJ Kennington, but there is the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron. He came into this race as your points leader just by virtue of winning the first race, and he's sitting in 7th spot. So he was one of those drivers who made a pit stop, but he was also the reason, or one of the reasons, why we had that caution, the second caution of the day after making contact with the Curb Records number 98 of Brent Weller. So couple pit stops for the 96. Seems as though they've sorted any handling issues that they had, and looks like Cameron is trying to make his way back up to the front.
Yeah, I don't think he has the pace to get there right now, but he's just going to ride, and it's a long season. He needs to have a good finish here if he wants to keep his championship hopes alive. Yeah,
if you look at the lap times, the last lap time for the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron is about 0.2 of a second off your race leader of Kevin Lacroix, as we've got a great battle here for the final podium position. And what a wiggle from the GM Paille number 27 of Andrew Ranger. He had to catch up to that car using the banking in 3 and 4 as Will LaRue has his machine pasted to the yellow line down low, and he's able to get a drive off really well on the front straightaway. So he's trying to diamond the quarter and get a drive off down low and make it stick as Ranger gets loose again.
Oh, yeah, that car is loose. The 45 car comparatively looks like it's on rails. The 27 car, he's struggling. He's going to be on the radio letting them know.
A pair of drivers from Quebec. Will LaRue calls Quebec City home, and of course Roxton Pond, Quebec is where the 27 of Andrew Ranger likes to call home, and looks like LaRue has got a nose in on the inside. So spotter,
contact.
Yeah, he got in tight, and he touched it looks like he touched the apron a little bit and bounced up. Again, one of the risks when you have banking this high is if you get to the apron, it's not like a shallower banking track where you can sort of make it work. Here you touch the apron, you're going for a trip.
No, it's going to give you a different setup for that point in time.
It looks like day is done for the Garoua, number 80 of Donald Teach, started with such promise and went south before the first turn was completed. And unfortunately for that team, they'll push it all the way back to the trailer and load up early here at Riverside International Speedway. That'll be huge disappointment for Donald Teach. He wants to win so badly in this series. He's got one win to his credit. That came out west in Saskatoon, but he thought he could bag another one here today.
For sure. He's always got the pace when we go to these short little ovals here, and it's just a matter of putting the whole race together for him, and it seems like they're plagued with bad luck more often than not.
Bay by bay, Leland, number 8, Sarah Thorne is up in the high groove trying to work around Brent Weller, but look who's looking to get around both of them, and that's your race leader in the 74. So Kevin Lacroix will dive to the outside around Weller and stick there as Sarah Thorne completes that pass, but it had opened up to a gap of 1.3 seconds between the top two cars, and now that has evaporated as DJ Kennington just watched as Lacroix had nowhere to go.
Yeah. Sarah Thorne lets the 74 go now, and DJ is going to have to jump up to the high side to go around the 8 as well.
So just 2 cars out of this race as we have crossed the 100 lap mark. We're now 114 the next time we cross the stripe as Ranger and LaRue continue this battle, and they will come in. Ooh, Weller with a big handful of wheel gathers it back up as he had the 3rd and 4th place battle just in his rearview mirror. He was trying to keep it tucked down low, but the back end had other ideas. Still again, that car is...
Yeah, he's using up some tires there, Ranger is. The 45 is just being patient. He knows that position's going to come to him eventually.
Matthew Kingsbury has dropped off just a little bit from this battle, about a second further back. There you see he's on the outside of Brent Weller, just behind Will LaRue. But that's the difference between your top 2 race cars, as they have opened up a gap of almost 3 seconds on 3rd place. As the 74 of Kevin Lacroix continues to stay out in front of the Castrol Edge Dodge of DJ Kennington, who did a little work promoting the series recently as the NASCAR Cup Series made a stop at Michigan. He went down, signed some autographs, and showed really well for the NASCAR Canada Series.
Yeah.
Just drumming up some interest.
Absolutely, and he knows a handful of those guys in the Cup Series. DJ's got a number of Cup starts and a lot of Xfinity starts, so I'm sure he had some buddies there, and a good kind of cross-border promotional deal there. But look at the 74, who he's coming up to lap. He's going to lap the 84, but his next car is the 96 points leader. Yeah,
Larry Jackson in the Superior Propane number 84. He moved to the outside. That's what Larry Jackson does. The 96 is not going to pull over and let the 74 go as easily. He does not want to go a lap down. And now the 3 car of Jason Hathaway just in front of there too. 2 drivers who made pit stops, rolled the dice and took left side tires, lost that track position. It looks as though that gamble has not paid off.
Yeah, those tires aren't helping them, and yeah, the 96 is not going to be an easy pass for the 74 there.
So there's Andrew Ranger, still dirt tracking it in the 27, but able to hold a gap. And yeah, a bump to the point leader coming into this event as the GM Paye number 96 gets lapped by the Gates Belts number 74 of Kevin Lacroix, your race leader, as he continues to put a whipping on this field. He won both events here at Riverside International Speedway a year ago, and now he is continuing his domination here in the Riverside 300, working his way through lap traffic. Just ahead is Jason Hathaway, so no doubt Jeff Gutler, the spotter for Jason Hathaway, will be telling him, you've got the leader coming up. Stick it down low, and that's likely where you'll see that Choco number 3 of Hathaway stay. And I don't know if Kevin Lacroix is going to want to use the outside groove. He hasn't yet.
No, I imagine he's going to give him the bumper, and he's going to try and put him a lap down here. You got to remember, 15-second laps. If you're a few tenths off the pace, these big, long green flag runs, you're going to go a lap down.
Battle for 3rd spot shaping up. The 45 of Will LaRue once again taking a look underneath the 27 of Andrew Ranger. So we have battles all over this third of a mile facility here at Riverside International Speedway. We're coming up on the halfway mark here of the Riverside 300. Race number 2 of the NASCAR Canada Series. We'll be back with more here on Rev TV.
This NASCAR Canada broadcast is presented in part by Phoenix. Rise again by visiting phoenix.ca.
And welcome back to Rev TV. We pick up this battle for third spot with Andrew Ranger again sliding up to that outside groove in the GM Paille number 27 as he tries to hold off a hard-charging Will LaRue for third spot. There you see your race leader, the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. Second place is not Marc-Antoine Cameron. He's a lap down. Second place is the Castrol Edge Dodge of DJ Kennington.
And we're back to that battle for third, and it's funny, you see Ranger do this so often. The car's not working on the bottom. He'll just jump up to the second lane, and he'll give the guy the bottom and say, come and take it. I'm going to be just as fast up in this lane.
It's funny, like I've called him Captain Highliner in the past, because at Autodrome Chaudière especially, he'll find not the second groove or the third one. He's sometimes way up in the atmosphere in the fourth groove trying to find some grip, trying to make that car work, and it often it does, as Ranger is generally fast wherever he goes, and he continues to be quick, holding down third spot as Kevin Lacroix once again well out in front of second place DJ Kennington, who's almost 2 seconds further back. So DJ Kennington not able to get through lap traffic quite as cleanly as Kevin Lacroix. As you can see, he continues to fight there. He still hasn't reached the back bumper, the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron. Again, this is the battle for third, and Will LaRue will be panting in his car because he's been hustling it behind Andrew Ranger.
Yep, and nothing he can do right now. Ranger's just running great lap times in that second lane.
So Kevin Lacroix has been so dominant, as a matter of fact, he has lapped up to the 7th place car. So Jason Hathaway there in the Leland number 3 is currently sitting in 8th spot. So he is a lap down to your race leader, Marc-Antoine Cameron, Larry Jackson 9th and 10th. But it is still Lacroix, Kennington, Ranger, Will LaRue, and Matthew Kingsbury, your top 5. We haven't talked a lot about LP Dumoulin. He was one of those drivers who did make a stop down pit lane during that last caution in the WeatherTech Dodge. He's sitting in 7th spot, but still a little bit further back from the 28 of Ryan Vargas, who's in 6th. So still that battle between the 27 of Andrew Ranger, and now Will LaRue is thinking that line seems to be working. I'm going to give that a shot.
Yep, it's still so many laps ahead of him. He's going to be patient. He's not going to burn his tires off. Just trying to keep digging on the bottom there. So he's going to try that high line, and it seems to be working for the guy in front of him.
We've had some pretty significant green flag runs here as we've now crossed over the halfway mark of this Riverside 300. But in your experience on a track like this, how much does the track itself change, less so your car? We know the car is going to change because things start to get hot, they start to wear down. How does the track change, and how does that affect your thinking when you're choosing a line?
Yeah, the track changes a number of ways. I mean, there's different rubber throughout the day. These cars are really rubbering in the track now. They're putting down a lot of laps, so that's going to change the handling of the car. This race, the sun had already set or almost set when the green flag waved, so you're not going to have that big swing from like a super hot track to complete darkness. So that's out of the equation, but it's still going to change a little bit with this rubber, the general tire rubber on the track.
You see a quick shot of the great crowd here at Riverside International Speedway enjoying the second race of the 2025 season for the NASCAR Canada Series, and Andrew Ranger seems to have found something in that second groove. Will LaRue was hunting and hounding him for many laps, and now Ranger has been able to open up just a little bit on the 45, as now the race leader has caught 7th place, the WeatherTech.ca Dodge of LP Dumoulin, the driver from Trois-Rivières, Quebec. He's got a very clean race car, And he was one who did come down for a pit stop and now trying to hold off the race leader or pray for a caution as soon as he goes and lets the leader go by. And that's exactly what Kevin Lacroix will do. If you did notice, you can see the inside of that left front glowing red hot from the 47 of LP Dumoulin. So definitely leaning on those brakes a lot more than your race leader, the 74 of Kevin Lacroix.
Absolutely, trying to keep that car pinned to the bottom there and you know, driving the car as hard as he can, whereas the 74 has multiple seconds lead on everyone. He doesn't have to charge these corners. He can just cruise. That car's working really well.
LP Dumoulin coming home 8th and 4th in the 2 races last year, a winner in 2018. So no stranger to going fast, just does not quite have the right combination today. And one driver who we thought might, the 74 of Kevin Lacroix, has done exactly that. So he's managed to gain some position, started on the outside of the front row and has taken over top spot and really never looked back at this point. So now a 4-second gap back to the 17 of DJ Kennington.
This is the best battle on track right now, the 45 and the 27. 27 still sticking it up high. 45 is going to figure out, he's got to figure out how to get around him at some point.
Yeah, it's been the tale of 2 packs. You've got the race leader, DJ Kennington, then that 3rd and 4th place battle. You've got 5th and, or the 9 of Matthew Kingsbury, so 5th and 6th, the 9 of Matthew Kingsbury, the 28 of Ryan Vargas. They are relatively close on the track too, so they've been sort of 2 separate packs. And yeah, Will LaRue once again moves to the inside as Andrew Ranger looks at the back of the Superior Propane number 84 of Larry Jackson. But it is such a huge shock to see the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron. He's sitting in 9th, but he's still a lap down, and it doesn't seem like there's any more speed in that car. So something's amiss, or they just completely missed on the setup today, which would be unheard of.
Yeah, pretty rare. I mean, that car seems to be the longer runs. Really, that car really comes to him, and he's quick, but just not there today.
So lap traffic may come into play for this battle for 3rd spot. You see Andrew Ranger once again hanging it up on the outside groove as DJ Kennington continues to work through. Kennington hasn't been quite as efficient working through lap traffic as Kevin Lacroix had done ahead of him. So that's the reason why Kennington has dropped to 5.1 seconds back from your race leader. Kevin Lacroix mostly clean air. Now he jumps to the outside of Sarah Thorne in the Leland by the Bay, or Bay by Bay, number 8. As Lacroix will move through there. And now Ranger works on the outside of the Curb Records, number 98 of Brent Welling.
Yeah, the 45 has no option here. He's just got to stick right to the bumper, the 27, and let him do all the passing and then go back to racing after they get through this lap traffic.
Ranger does have a win here in the past, and it came way back in 2009 for Andrew Ranger in 12 starts, just the 1 win. And last year he finished 6th and 8th in 2 starts here at Riverside International Speedway.
I say that, and now the 45 is going to the bottom, and maybe he's going to try and force the issue with lap traffic.
So that battle continues to happen for 3rd spot between the 27 of Andrew Ranger, the 45 of Will LaRue. So we'll take a quick step back and pay some bills here on Rev TV. You're watching the NASCAR Canada Series from Riverside International Speedway.
NASCAR Canada is brought to you in part by Pinty's, proudly Canadian.
And welcome back to Riverside International Speedway. The pit crews are waiting for a caution to happen, and then they will fit up those general tires. There's 4 brand new stickers waiting to go on most of these cars, as several drivers haven't made a pit stop. And now as the field starts to get stretched out more and more, the chances of us seeing a caution are fewer and farther in between, but we know several of these drivers do have to make at least one stop for fuel.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can bet when that caution comes out, these guys are going to try and get as many tires on that car as possible. So you're only allowed one tire per stop, but in one single caution, you can come down pit lane as many times as you want.
Yeah, so you can take fuel, you can take one tire, but you have to go around again. So you have to put the car back out on the track, come back down pit lane, and then aim at fitting up general tire and sending the car back out. So yeah, pit road is going to be a busy place. I foresee that happening at the next opportunity that they get, because a green flag stop will be 2-3 laps at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's looking very green this race. You might be getting on the radio again, depending on your calculations. You might say, start saving fuel.
That's an interesting strategy play right now. So some of these drivers have been going all out to try and catch the 74. Kevin Lacroix continues to lead over DJ Kennington, Andrew Ranger and Will LaRue. That is the battle for third and fourth. One of the best battles we've seen on the track. Then you've got Matthew Kingsbury and Ryan Vargas in fifth and sixth. But there is your race leader, the driver from Saint Eustache, Quebec, in the Gates Hydraulics Napa Racing Chevrolet. And it's Kevin Lacroix who has been the class of the field so far. Look who's just in front of him. That's his teammate, Matthew Kingsbury. But Kingsbury is sitting in sixth spot. So Ryan Vargas in the 28 has managed to get around the 9 of Matthew Kingsbury. And now Kingsbury is coming under threat to go a lap down.
Yeah, these big, long green flag runs, you know, we've seen some historic stuff in this series. I think it was 2016 back at Sunset. Tagliani beat the entire field by a lap.
I remember that well, and it was just, we were thinking there would be a caution, and there was not a caution, and it just didn't happen. And Tagliani was so very, very good that day. And you're right, he lapped the entire field. We did get a caution right towards the end, and I think Jason Hathaway opted to come in and make a pit stop rather than get the lap back as part of the lucky dog, but or the free pass car in that race. But yeah, that was a wild event.
Yeah, I was one of the guys praying for a caution for sure. That was 268 laps green.
Incredible for sure, but we're looking like we're going to maybe match that here today. We have had a couple of cautions in the early going of this race, but a lot of these drivers and crews decided to stay out and roll the dice that the equipment that they had on their cars was good enough to maybe go to the end. But Kevin Lacroix is right now the class of the field for sure. So he's about 6.5 seconds ahead of the 17 of DJ Kennington. Andrew Ranger and Will LaRue. Ranger is coming up on the other GM Paye entry, the 96, Marc-Antoine Cameron, who had an incident in turn number 1, and that was one of the reasons for the caution after he got together with the curb records number 98 of Brent Weller. And now Ranger will move to the outside. Not teammates, just the same sponsor, so they're prepared out of different shops. And Ranger again in that high groove, looking very, very comfortable.
I mean, that's got to be tough for the 96. He's going 2 laps down here at this point, where he is 2 laps down, but 2 laps down to his teammate there. That's tough.
Yeah, it's just one of those days that
caution's out.
And there we do. There we have it, a caution flag right now, and no clear indication on the track. Oh, it is Brent Weller. So up in turn number 4, Weller went for a spin in the curb records number 98. He was grabbing a handful of steering wheel a little bit earlier on in that run. So no surprise that the tires might have given up the ghost on that thing. So that is the caution that everybody wanted to see.
Yeah, this will be interesting what happens on pit lane here.
So it will be busy, we can guarantee you. Who's going to stop for fuel? Who's going to stop for tires? That's the big question. We know some drivers have come in for some tires already. Jason Hathaway is one of them in the Leland number 3. So has Marc-Antoine Cameron. He's come down, and the 47 of LP Dumoulin has already come down to take fuel. As we will catch up to the tail end, there is the 98.
Oh,
And
looked like the 17 got slow there. I'm not sure what was going on.
so not a full spin for the 98 of Brent Weller, but caution comes out as we'll restack this field. So while we do, we'll take this opportunity to step back and take a quick break here on Rev TV. Once again, Kevin Lacroix, your race leader, and pit road's about to be a busy place.
NASCAR Canada is brought to you in part by General Tire. General Tire delivers.
And welcome back to race number 2 of the 2025 NASCAR Canada Series on Rev TV. I'm Dave Bradley. Joined with me in the booth is Gary Klutsch. And the third member of our broadcast team has had a very easy day so far today. Todd Lewis hasn't seen much action along pit lane, but business is about to pick up. You can see the crew for the Napa team, your race leader, Kevin Lacroix, ready to go. So it'll be fuel first off, and we'll see if they choose to make another stop to come back for tires. But again, to reiterate, live pit stops. This is not a brake race as it has been in the past, so the crews have to be careful, and they have to do everything right.
Absolutely, absolutely. The 74, he's going to take fuel. You know, he's not super worried about his pace right now, but he needs some fuel to make it to the end.
And so there you can see Todd Lewis waiting for the 74 car of Kevin Lacroix coming down pit lane. So, Todd, we're waiting for the arrival. It looks like fuel for the first stop at the very least. Are tires going on?
That is the question right now that is being hotly debated between the crew chief and the driver of that 74 car. The discussion is which tires, how many tires. They should be able to make 2 stops during this caution period. The pace car slows down during the caution period, and you see the car starting to pull up to prepare to pit. That should allow them to make 2 stops during this caution. They will take the fuel, as you mentioned, the first time around. And then the debate will come as to how many tires you want to take, which tire you want to take. We've been out for almost 200 laps. I'm going to bet that there's a lot of drivers that are going to want a right rear tire on that car to maybe go the distance to the 300 lap duration here. We'll wait and see as the car is about to hit pit lane for the first time. Kevin Lacroix, his goal was to try to lap as many cars as he could during that long green flag run. They don't plan on any handling adjustments. The 17 of DJ Kennington, a little bit free according to John Fletcher, so they'll make a small adjustment during this pit stop wherever they can. And that 96 car has been having so much trouble because of a bad set of tires. The car was great, they adjusted tires, and it was not nearly the same. Routine fuel stop so far for the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. They're done, he'll be down and on his way.
Ooh, he had to get around the 96, so Marc-Antoine Cameron, who pulled in just ahead, and you saw the 27 of Andrew Ranger was right on the back bumper of the 74 as they pulled out of pit lane. So that is the perils of a tight pit lane too, and one of the factors that we didn't talk about when you make the stops.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to be mindful of the guy in front of you, and sometimes you got to maneuver your way out of there.
And we can tell you the 47 of LP Dumlé is the free pass car, so he will get back on the lead lap. But the top 2 coming back down pit lane. Once again, Kevin Lacroix will find his spot, but Andrew Ranger will find his first. And it looks like right side tires, or at least a right rear for Andrew Ranger, a right front for the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. This is where you have to be careful. You have to make sure to get all those lug nuts on. Make sure they're all tight. No mistakes on pit lane when you have a live pit stop as Ranger goes through and gets around the 74 of Kevin Lacroix.
Yeah, they had a quicker tire stop there.
DJ Kennington also a good quick stop in the Castrol Edge Dodge. So Lacroix was a little bit cautious, we can say. I don't want to say slow because it was definitely not a slow stop, but definitely a little bit more cautious as Will LaRue appears as though he lost a lot of time on pit lane.
Here comes the 27 again.
Yep, so Andrew Ranger, who took 1 tire, and again, you're only allowed taking 1 tire per stop or fuel, and it's going to be a left rear this time as Matthew Kingsbury weaves his way out of his pit stall, and heads back out onto the track in a right front for the Castrol Edge Dodge of DJ Kennington. And again, these crews don't have a lot of practice doing live pit stops. We do them at places like Trois-Rivières, we do them at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, but on a tight pit lane like this, we haven't had a lot of practice in the past.
No, not in recent years has there been live pit stops on ovals. 9-10 years ago there were live pit stops, but now just trying to make it more economical for these teams to bring a few less guys.
And so that's the reason for doing one tire per stop rather than turning right sides or left sides. So it does throw a little bit of a different factor into the mix as the 74 is held on pit lane. So we'll have to check in with Todd to see what happened there. So possibly a slow stop. I don't know. He's still marked on the lead lap as of right now. But Kevin Lacroix was held at the tail end of pit lane before being allowed back out onto the track as Ranger DJ Kennington coming down for a third stop now.
Yeah, they're extending this yellow a little bit to get all this service done. I'd expect it to go almost green from here, but as we know, cautions breed cautions.
It's true. And as we get into nearing the final 100 laps of this one, so we've got 111 laps left to go as it stands right now. So we're getting close to that final third of this race, and that's when things really pick up.
Absolutely, absolutely. Everyone was, trying to feel out their car, cruising, trying to keep the body on the car, trying to keep the tires on the car, and now it's time to go.
You can see the red lollipop going up at the end of pit lane, so the drivers who were trying to mix back out into the field getting stopped. There's not too many waiting there as we get set to go back to green very, very soon here at Riverside Speedway. So as we restack the field once again, we'll take another quick break before we get back to the green flag action here in the Riverside 300. You're watching Rev TV.
This NASCAR Canada broadcast is presented in part by Phoenix. Rise again by visiting phoenix.ca.
So we continue under caution. You can see the drivers trying to build up as much heat as they can in those, or maintain the heat as they can in the general tires. Now we'll line up 2 by 2. Lights off on the pace cars. We get set to go back to green after an extended caution period here, setting up the final 100 laps. As a matter of fact, 94 laps to go now. As we continued under caution, the pace truck will find pit lane.
Here we go, Saturday night shootout.
Absolutely. Drivers sitting up in the seats, pulling the belts just a little bit tighter, and we go back to green through the Pinty's restart zone, and LaRue with a great hop will slide up the racetrack just a little bit, and that erases the run by the Castrol Edge Dodge of DJ Kennington.
Yeah, that was heads up by his spotter there saying the 17's on the high side. That's where he's going to go, get in front of him.
Now Kennington, not known for using the bumper, but he's doing it right now as he rattles the cage of the young driver just ahead of him. The 45 of Will LaRue pastes it to the inside. Kennington, who has newer tires, we do know LaRue has one good right rear tire, but it doesn't seem to be holding up to the threat of the 17. Kennington is that much quicker through the middle part of the corner, and there's a big wiggle from the 45.
Yep, the 17 gave him just a little bit of bumper there, and he has to. It's time to go. If he has a hope of getting away clean from the 74, it's now.
DJ Kennington, the veteran of the series who has started all races here at Riverside Speedway in the NASCAR Canada Series, is rubbing doors with the 45 of Will LaRue as LaRue continues to make a run of it on the high side. He's not giving up this one without a fight. Oh, they're so tight at the line. Kennington noses in front, but again, Will LaRue able to throw it a ton. Boy, Ranger got all kinds of loose off the front bumper. The 28 of Ryan Vargas as the battle heats up for third.
There we go. The 17 is clear, and he's got to set sail because he knows the 74 is coming.
Where is the 74, though? Kevin Lacroix, who's so dominant through the first 200 laps of this event. There he is chasing the number 9 of Matthew Kingsbury, but he seems to be mired in traffic. He can't get around. We know that Kevin Lacroix likes the inside lane, but with everybody on relatively new tires, he just can't get there.
No, it's tough. You know, the big difference in these cars really manifests once the tires have once they start to wear. So it's going to be tough for him to get these passes done early.
Vargas is all over the GM Paille, number 27 of Andrew Ranger. And again, that's another car prepared out of the DJ Kennington stable. And so Vargas would be confident in knowing that his boss has the lead of this race, and he's got equipment that is very similar in the critical path security, number 28. There is the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. He's got the 3 of Jason Hathaway in behind. Jason Hathaway is chasing both the 74 and the 9 of Matthew Kingsbury. So Kingsbury rounds out the top 5 in the Jura King, number 9. But for how much longer, as Kevin Lacroix now takes a look down low.
There we go. He was losing his patience there.
And so the leader continues to be the 17 of DJ Kennington.
Yeah, with a big gap on the 45, and then another big gap to the 27 with the 28 right in tow.
Yeah, you can see the 45, though, is doing well. Now that the tires have come back up to temperature, that car seems to have settled down after the pressure by the 17 of DJ Kennington. So Will LaRue about a second back of your race leader as the laps continue to tick down. Now 79 laps to go in this 300-lap affair here at Riverside International Speedway. About 2 hours outside of Halifax on Canada's East Coast. And a gem of a speedway this is, and it's treating us to another gem of a race here on the NASCAR Canada Series once again. As Andrew Ranger now has once again jumped up into that outside groove. Old tires, new tires, it doesn't really matter. He's about half a groove off that yellow line pretty much the entire day. You see DJ Kennington able to paste it really down low. That car just tracks along that yellow line, hugging the apron. Will LaRue doing the same thing, and there you go. Andrew Ranger is up just a little bit more, about half a car length off the bottom.
This is going to be a big gap for the 74 to close down on DJ Kennington up front.
And we can actually tell you that I was just checking the timing and scoring, and I was sort of taking it with a grain of salt, but the 74 is a lap down to your race leader. So the driver from Saint Eustache, Quebec, is hoping for another caution. So as it sits right now, he would be in the free pass position to get the lap back if there was to be another caution that flew. But right now, Kevin Lacroix is 1 lap down to your race leader. So the battle in front of him is a battle for position. It doesn't include him.
Wow, there was a bobble on pit lane that we missed with the 74 there that really hurt his chances of winning that race.
He was so good. He led almost all of the first 200 laps of this race, and now he's getting into the back bumper of Ryan Vargas. You can see Vargas got a little bit loose. He's just going to let Kevin Lacroix go. He knows that driver is not on his lap, not racing for position, and maybe a little angry as well, as drivers tend to get a little bit heated in the cockpit too when something goes wrong that might be out of their control.
So the 17 here just logging laps. He's got a great gap to the 45. He's got a great car. He knows he had a legitimate second place car before that big caution there, but now things are looking bright for him.
Yeah, so Kevin Lacroix in 6th spot is the first car 1 lap down, and there you saw your race leader, the 17 of DJ Kennington, out in front of Will LaRue as we continue under green flag here at Riverside International Speedway.
This NASCAR Canada broadcast is brought to you in part by WeatherTech. Find your fit online at weathertech.ca.
And welcome back to race number 2 of the NASCAR Canada Series in 2025 on Rev TV. The number 98 of Brent Weller showing some sparks as he will bring the curb records Ford Mustang down pit lane as we continue to watch the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. He might just do this old school He's got his elbows out, his sleeves rolled up. He is going to work, and now trying to pass third place, the 27 of Andrew Ranger. This is not a pass for position, though, as Kevin Lacroix continues to be one lap down.
Yeah, his only shot right here, he's got to legitimately unlap himself and then go to work after another caution.
Then how much of his stuff is he going to use up trying to unlap himself and then go around? He had lapped up until about 6th spot at the time of the caution, so we know that car has the performance in it. But do we have the time left in this race? As you can see, just 63 laps remaining, and 62 now as the drivers come across the start-finish line. But there, how much quicker than the 27 is the 74? You can see that gap open up in just a couple laps' time. So Kevin Lacroix definitely setting sail and putting his sights on the second-place car. But again, it will not be for position when he gets there. He needs a caution so desperately. Which makes you wonder if he's going to get overly aggressive with a lap-down car as soon as they get into the slower traffic. We've seen it before, but you never know what can happen for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's just got such a fast race car. He's just probably going to have to take whatever this race gives him and, you know, move on to the next one. But frustrating deal for the 74.
And let's talk about DJ Kennington just a little bit. As we talked off the top of the show, he has 2 wins here. His last win came way back in 2012. However, he did run second to Jason Hathaway in 2019. He had a top 5 here last year, so you never can count out the driver of the Castrol Edge Dodge. And if you bet against him here today, you probably made a bad bet, because he put it on pole and he let a little bit off the start. He just gave up that lead to the 74, and look where he is now.
Yeah, the race is really coming to him here, and I don't think the 45 has the pace to reel him back in, barring the caution.
Battle for third spot. It is the 28 of Ryan Vargas down on the inside. Not necessarily a bad thing for Andrew Ranger to be up in that second groove. That car's been fast in that upper lane, as we've seen a couple of times earlier on in this run, but now the 28 seems to be the better piece, and it looks like Vargas is going to lead him at the line, so he will take over third spot in a great run in that 28 car. The only driver from the United States calling California home, making a shot at running the NASCAR Canada Series after running NASCAR Europe last year. And Ryan Vargas, of course, has made starts in the NASCAR Xfinity Series and the Truck Series as well. And he's loving his first visit to Riverside Speedway.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. That car looks super stable, super easy to drive compared to the 27 that is looks certainly a little bit free coming off those corners.
So now we're coming up into lap traffic. Larry Jackson, the Superior Propane, number 84, is in 10th spot. And he is just ahead of your race leader. So Jackson working around Brent Weller, who has made a quick stop down pit lane and has rejoined the fray. Now the 17 of Kennington goes around Weller and once again chases the 84, but you can see the gap back. So Kennington will take a look in his mirror or listen to his spotter, and he will know there's no pressure from behind. You don't have to force the issue.
Yeah, he's just got to get through here clean.
And he's going to do that. Larry Jackson, another veteran of the series. Jackson will pull to the inside and let the leader go by. The Castrol Edge Dodge continues to open a gap. Ooh, LaRue with a big wiggle, not once but twice, as he went to the high groove around the 98 of Brent Weller. And we know those tires are a little older for Will LaRue, as he put one good general tire on the right rear. But that was it. He opted to stay out a little bit longer in hopes that another caution would come fairly quickly. It hasn't yet, and that car has now become a handful, as the 47 of Kevin Lacroix has caught him. And again, Lacroix is trying to unlap himself the old school way, as we're under 50 to go now.
Yeah, the 74 has just eaten up that gap on the 45. But again, he's got such a big gap to make up without a caution. That's going to be a tough undertaking.
Yeah, so Kevin Lacroix was involved in an incident in race number 1. He did come back and salvaged an 8th place finish, so it was a hit to the start of the year as far as the points battle goes and the overall picture here in 2025. So he was hoping to have a much better finish here this year. Now he's not very far down the order. He's still in 6th spot, believe it or not, 1 lap down, but that just goes to show you how dominant that car was in the early going. So as he continues to try and track down your race leader, and DJ Kennington is not going to fight him off too hard if he unlaps himself, but once the 74 gets there, if he gets there, as the laps continue to tick off, there's still a gap way back to Kevin Lacroix as it sits right now. So Vargas opened up a gap on the 27 of Andrew Ranger. It's about 0.8 of a second now between those 2 cars, and they'll come into lap traffic. But Vargas, as you mentioned, that car is very stable, and he looks quite at home behind the wheel of the critical path security number 28. So a pair of DJ Kennington prepared cars in the top 3. And Will LaRue in the 45 holding down 2nd spot as it sits right now. But again, laps continue to tick off. We're just over 40 to go here in the Riverside 300.
Yeah, Ryan Vargas doing a great job here. He's just got to keep it clean, get through that lap traffic, and he's sitting in a podium position, which is all you can ask for. This is a great run for that guy.
Yeah, and that's a thing. So we talked about DJ Kennington and how many laps he has around this facility. I mean, he's made 15 starts coming into this one, so this would be his 16th, by far more starts than anyone else in the NASCAR Canada Series at this facility. But then you have Will LaRue making his very first start. You have Ryan Vargas making his first start here. And then just inside the top 5, the number 9 of Matthew Kingsbury, another driver who had never seen this facility before, making his first start and having a great run here today.
Yeah, I mean, just a testament to the series, drawing these talented guys here. It's where you want to go race in Canada, and even if you're from the States, it's where you want to go race.
That's the only national touring stock car series in Canada. It is the NASCAR Canada Series, and from here the series heads out west to make that western road trip out to Wetaskiwin, Alberta, and Edmonton International Raceway for the Napa 300. That'll be the next stop on the docket. Another oval, a very short oval, much different than this one. It's a rough and tumble kind of place.
Absolutely. Edmonton is a flat little track, and things get rough there. Absolutely. Saskatoon, an awesome racetrack. Big oval.
Yeah, so those are the couple races on the western trip before the drivers make their way back east as part of the 2025 NASCAR Canada Series schedule. You see DJ Kennington, again, not hurrying anything. He doesn't have to. Sarah Thorne from Newfoundland in the 8 car. So that car prepared out of the EHR shop, the Ed Hackinson Racing shop, the Leland Industry backed Bay by Bay number 8 of Sarah Thorne. She made a few starts in the NASCAR Canada Series, is off the pace by a couple of laps, and DJ Kennington just gets to the outside, eases his way around. Again, no pressure from behind. He knows the 74 might be quicker, but the 74 is a lap down to the race leaders. And we got a gaggle of cars deeper in the field. And again, not a battle for position with the 9 of Matthew Kingsbury is in there. You have the 3 of Jason Hathaway and the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron. I believe that will be a battle for position once they reach each other. And LB Dumoulin actually on the back bumper of the 96. So that's a dice for position. That'll be for 8th spot if LB Dumoulin can get up and around the GM Paye number 96. But for all his troubles, Marc-Antoine Cameron sitting 8th. He can count this as a decent day for being a battler.
Yeah, for how poorly handling that car was in the opening stages of this race. He'll be happy to just leave here in the top 10.
As we heard Todd, it was a bad set of tires on the GM Paye Chevrolet, the one that just didn't work out with the way they thought it was going to work out. We say bad set of tires, it's just sort of a set of tires that didn't agree with the setup that they had on the car. There was nothing wrong with the tires itself, but just something that they missed on the setup for the early part of this race. They managed to get that all changed out. And Marc-Antoine Cameron sitting in 8th spot, your points leader coming into this event. But DJ Kennington is out in front. So the 74 of Kevin Lacroix chasing, but again, is 1 lap down. So Lacroix is in 6th. By far the fastest car on the track right now. Just to give you an idea, so DJ Kennington's last lap time by was 15.31, and Kevin Lacroix a 15.2. So he's about a 1/10 of a second quicker each and every time around the track, but he's about to get his lap back the old school way, and he'll still have about 25 laps to try and get back around.
Absolutely. That's a tall order to do it under green, but he's going to get his lap back here. He is eating up that gap.
So as we watch Kevin Lacroix hound your race leader, we're going to take a quick break, and then we will take you to the checkered flag here in the Riverside 300 from Riverside International Speedway. We're in the NASCAR Canada Series. DJ Kennington continues to lead. And welcome back. I'm Dave Bradley. Joined with me in the booth is Gary Klutz, and DJ Kennington slides up to the outside in through some old speedy dry, and there goes Kevin Lacroix down low. He's going to get boxed in behind the number 98 of Brent Weller, but as savage as this battle has been for a couple of laps, it is not for position. Kevin Lacroix trying to get his lap back. DJ Kennington has been holding him off, but really doesn't need to, as Kevin Lacroix is a one whole circuit behind the 17. I guess you do want to hold him back, because if he gets his lap back, he restarts in 6th spot. He's right there. He could be knocking on the door in a hurry.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. You can't count anything out, and you've got to take everything you can get. So DJ's working hard up front, and 21 laps to go. He's just driving his own race.
You can see Lacroix getting very close to the back bumper of the Castrol Edge Dodge, and DJ's going to show him the inside, say if you want to go, you can head through on that way. But as hard as the 74 has been pushing for the last 50 laps or so, that car is starting to wiggle around. So he has overheated those General tires, trying to push his way up and get to the front, as we've got under 20 laps to go now in the Riverside 300. DJ Kennington, your race leader. Kevin Lacroix is trying to unlap himself in the Gates Hydraulics number 74, and he will that time by. Kennington, smart move. He'll just slot in behind and try and keep pace at this point and hope there is no caution.
Absolutely. That is not what he wants to see.
Can't even see second place in behind, but we can tell you that it is still Will LaRue. He's almost 4 seconds further adrift from your race leader. Ryan Vargas continues to hold down the final podium position in 3rd place in the 28th, and Andrew Ranger and Matthew Kingsbury. Now Kevin Lacroix back on the lead lap. So 6 cars on the lead lap here at Riverside International Speedway. There is your second place. The LaRue Industrial Blowers number 45 of Will LaRue. He's had just a fantastic outing here today. Was battling with the 27 of Andrew Ranger until pit stops came. They rolled the dice. Only changed the right rear on that car, so he stayed out just a little bit longer, picked up some track position, and has been holding in second very, very well, as that car, that strategy call might have been the right one. That car was just handling that much better, so it's, you know, you try it. You see how well it's going to sit, and it wasn't quite as quick as the 17, but it seems to be working decent now.
No, absolutely. He's done a great job all night, and he is a guy who is praying for a caution. He wants one more shot at it.
Oh, you know he does, for sure. He just needs to close that gap in the 17. And to see the 74 as quick as he was to catch up to the leader and eventually get around the Castrol Edge Dodge, there's DJ Kennington saying, well, I'll just keep you here, and keeps him in his sights. Now with 11 laps to go as the leaders cross the stripe this time by. There is Vargas in 3rd. In the 28s and the 27 GM Paye Chevrolet of Andrew Ranger in 4th spots. They have a lap car of Larry Jackson in between them. Brent Weller just up ahead in the number 98, the red nose and white tail Ford Mustang. Just ahead of your 3rd place runner right now, the 28 of Ryan Vargas.
Yeah, Vargas has got to be a little bit careful here. The 98 is all over the track. He's given him the bottom, and Vargas is going to shoot by and say, thank goodness.
We've seen some problems on that 98 of Vargas. I think he had a tire go down earlier. It shot sparks all over the racetrack. He managed to find pit lane. They made the repairs necessary to get him back out, and he continues on. The 98 is in 12th spot. Yeah, Brent Weller. Sorry, I said Vargas earlier, but Brent Weller is in 12th spot. Vargas has now managed to get around him as trying to find the 27 of Andrew Ranger. Here's the 47-96 3 battle, and yes, this is a battle between Marc-Antoine Cameron, Jason Hathaway, and LP Dumoulin. Dumoulin at the tail of that one, the WeatherTech Dodge. He's now just barely clipping the apron and trying to make it stick underneath the 3 car of Jason Hathaway. And look at those brake rotors glow.
Yeah, these guys are, 5 laps to go. They're going for it. This is 4th position. The 47 is really trying hard here, and so is the 3 on the outside. That brake's not even cooling down on the straightaway. He is on the binders.
Just trying to get every bit they can as we hit 5 laps to go. Now 4 for your race leader. The 17 of DJ Kennington is putting on a clinic in this last run here at Riverside International Speedway as we watch this battle deeper in the field between the 3 car of Jason Hathaway and the 47 of LP Dumoulin. A battle for 8th spot as DJ Kennington continues out in front, and he will see 2 to go the next time around. Ooh, Hathaway slipped up just a little bit and opened the door for the 47. There is your race leader in the Castrol Edge Dodge, DJ Kennington. He's got no pressure from behind, nobody out in front as Hathaway and Dumoulin continue to navigate lap traffic. That's Matthew Kingsbury in the 9 in there too. Kingsbury is actually inside the top 5 as we hit the white flag. 1 to go for DJ Kennington as he eases his way through 1 and 2. Kennington has won here twice before, his last win coming in 2012. But DJ Kennington, a winner in the NASCAR Canada Series in 2025. He will take top spot. Coming home in second will be Will LaRue and Ryan Vargas. His first ever podium in the NASCAR Canada Series comes here in Nova Scotia. So Kennington, with such a dominant run in the latter stages of this race, the 74 of Kevin Lacroix might have had the car to pass him. Unfortunately, track position and problems on pit lane really cost him. Kennington able to set sail and cruise to the win. His first in 2025 here at Riverside International Speedway. He'll park along the start-finish stripe. There you see Ryan Vargas. He wanted to park and give his boss a big congratulations. A wave from Jason Hathaway, a couple of veterans giving each other a good thumbs up here on the front straightaway as Kennington will get the checkered flag and gets to do an old school victory lap. No better feeling as a driver, is there?
No, absolutely. Pure relief.
Kennington with a brand new race car coming here to this 1/3 of a mile oval just outside Antigonish, Nova Scotia, and boy did that car ever work well. He was off the pace just a little bit in practice, wasn't quite as quick as some of the other drivers. Qualifying, he threaded together a couple very, very quick laps, and then come race time, started on pole, led the early going, and then took over after pit stops in the late going of this one. And you can see that car, barely a mark on it. That's exactly DJ Kennington style, isn't it?
No, absolutely. That was textbook. That is a happy camper.
So Kennington showing some love to the crowd here on the front straightaway. Donut's not his style. He does a lot of the fixing on that car himself, and he can just hear his dad's voice in his head saying, don't burn up that engine. As his dad is a renowned engine builder in the NASCAR Canada Series, and for a long time built the engines for DJ Kennington. As Kennington comes into victory lane, and you can see the crew going in the window, giving him a big congratulations. As we get set to welcome Kennington out of the car, you can see Todd Lewis set to make his presence felt in victory lane. And we'll send it down trackside to Todd Lewis. Todd?
Yeah, this is going to be a very happy crew. This victory has been nearly 3 years in the making. 2022 at Saskatoon was the last win for DJ Kennington, and he's about to collect his 25th checkered flag as soon as he gets out of the car. There is a big smile, and it's an emotional moment for DJ Kennington. His son Chase is ready to greet him as soon as he comes out of the car. They rode together here in the hauler from their shop in St. Thomas all the way out here. It's a trip that they've done a couple of times now, and both of them enjoy it, and they're both going to enjoy this victory as well. For the 25th time in his career, DJ Kennington will climb out of the Castrol Edge Dodge to celebrate victory. Brought in some extra help, as mentioned, with John Fletcher this weekend. You knew you were good in practice, felt good in qualifying. Now you've sealed it with the victory.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. There's been a lot of people help me over the years. You start doubting yourself, Todd. We've been struggling the last few years here, and that's Castrol, CIM Metals, Brimstone Games, Brian Cathcart, Critical Path Security, everybody that helps us. I just thank you so much for sticking with us, and my family, these guys. I got a group of guys that have been with me quite a while now, and they're freaking awesome, and I'm just happy for them, happy for everybody, my family, my dad, everybody that puts their heart and soul into this thing. We finally got it done, and hopefully we can keep this ball rolling the rest of the year.
Hope to continue with another one, but it's victory number 25 for DJ Kennington. It comes at Riverside.
And there he is, Ryan Vargas, standing by with our Todd Lewis. So third place finisher, Ryan Vargas. He looks a little tired, Todd.
300 laps here at Riverside will wear you out just a little bit. I can understand, Ryan, but you had some extra motivation, a special name riding alongside with you. Race number 2, but your first podium in the NASCAR Canada Series.
Yeah, no, this race goes to Jean Kelly, grandmother of Patrick Kelly, my sponsor. She passed recently. We ran her name on the right side of the car, so I think she might have to stay there for good luck. First podium in NASCAR Canada, but I mean, well, what could I say? This Critical Path Security Canada, Lyrga Security, Dodge Challenger was so good. I didn't expect this today, but I'm here. I'm on the front stretch, celebrating with DJ, celebrating top 3, and you know, we just couldn't do it without amazing partners. You know, I'm just so happy to be here.
Congratulations. Great showing here at Riverside.
Thank you.
Driver started in 9th spot, ends up in 3rd today. He says how good that car was. That's a prime example. You need a car that good to finish where he did. Todd is standing by now with our 2nd place finisher, Todd.
Another great run from Will LaRue. You had a 2nd at the end of last year, Montmagny. Another challenging track here, but another really good car for you.
Yeah, I mean, we had a good car for sure. By the middle of the race, in the center of the corner when it loaded, the power steering was just off, like it was on and off. So I was just, oh no, not again. But yeah, DJ was very fast, and we finished 2nd. So that's all we can ask.
Great job for Will LaRue.
Thank you.
Definitely a great job, and especially one when you have to fight the race car, too. So that makes a challenging day all that much more rewarding. As you can see, the victory lane celebrations continue. Now Ryan Vargas going to join the team on the podium. And there you can see the trophy being handed over to DJ Kennington. Photographs happening as we take you through the top 10 finishers here. We know the top 3, DJ Kennington, Will LaRue, and Ryan Vargas, but Andrew Ranger coming home in 4th, and Kevin Lacroix, as good as that car was, still 6th spot. He finished on the lead lap. He unlapped himself, so it gives you an idea of how dominant that car was.
Yeah, that's going to be a long, tough ride home, knowing just how dominant that car was, and then, a bobble on pit lane, putting him a lap down, and him having to unlap himself to finish 6th there. Just never got a shot at it with really a green flag race.
Yeah, Marc-Antoine Cameron, he had trouble in the early going. He finished up in 7th spot. LP Dumoulin, Jason Hathaway, and then Larry Jackson, first race with those new colors, will round out the top 10. And the second half of the field, Sarah Thorne, Brent Weller, Brian Cathcart, and Donald Teague. Teague, unfortunately, didn't make it through the first corner before trouble on that 80 car. So an unfortunate day ends early for that driver. So this is going to shake up the point standings just a little bit. We know DJ Kennington had an 8th place finish, or a 7th place finish, I should say, at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, so this will lift him up in the point standings. The 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron had that win in race number 1. He comes home in 7th here today, so it'll be pretty close to a tie between those two drivers at the top of the point standings after 2 races. As we mentioned, race number 3 is just around the corner here in the NASCAR Canada Series, and that one comes on the other side of the country. We go from the East Coast to the west. The next event is the Napa 300 in Wetaskiwin, Alberta, in the Edmonton International Raceway. And that will be a fun race to watch. 300 laps on a tight bull ring for the NASCAR Canada Series will be the next event. And some of the favorites had trouble here today. And DJ Kennington, a steady veteran of the series, didn't put a foot wrong, and he comes home on top. So there you can see Alan LaBrosse from the NASCAR Canada Series handing out the trophies here on the podium. But as Gary joins me now, again, it was an exciting race, but it was the strategy that really surprised me and how it was going to play out and how it eventually did play out.
Yeah. I mean, tough calls there. Tough shakeout for the 74. He was lightning quick, but the 17, they didn't put a foot wrong, and they got the big trophy at the end of it.
Guaranteed that 74 is going to come back solid in Edmonton. You know he's got a fast car. You know that team can work well together. When he goes to Edmonton, he's not going to give any space. He wants to put an exclamation point and said, I should have won race number 2. Now I'm going to do it for race number 3. But you see DJ Kennington takes the top step of the podium and will rise in the point standings as well. Ryan Vargas continues his great rookie campaign here in the NASCAR Canada Series with a 3rd place finish and a little bit of a surprise just because of his newness to this series. We talked about how much experience he has in other series and other forms of NASCAR, but in the NASCAR Canada Series, these cars are different beasts.
No, absolutely. Great run, great speed. Just didn't put a foot wrong. He's going to be happy with this one.
Yeah, for sure he will. And again, we continue our trek out west. The next race in the NASCAR Canada Series will be the Napa 300 from Edmonton International Raceway. For Todd Lewis and Gary Clute, I'm Dave Bradley. A big congratulations to DJ Kennington, the winner here in the Riverside 300.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.